Welcome to Relationships on Reddit. In this series, we look at posts on Reddit. We'll check out some of the responses. I'll provide some coaching questions for exploration, as I would for a client who is in the situation. Then finally, I'll provide my commentary at the end of just being myself, unfiltered and unadulterated. Hi, I'm Janelle, the relationship coach behind The Successful Invisible. Check out my links below if you're interested in working with me for group coaching or one-on-one coaching. The goal of exploring these posts is to have you become more discerning, intentional, and successful in your dating and relationships. Jumping into today's post, I really liked it because it was a little more on the negative side. And the second thing is that it's a man who wrote this, and usually the perspective he's writing from or the feelings he has, I have usually experienced it with my clients that are women versus men. Men can definitely feel this as well, but just in my experience, I've heard this perspective or this way of being kind of stated more from women. So I think it's a really great post for us to break down and, see what's going on. All right, so let's jump into this post from the Dating Over 40 Reddit. I, 43 male, just got the I met someone else from a woman I met online. And I thought we had a great connection. This might be the official retirement of my dating life. We met on Bumble. On paper, we were about as compatible as can be. We even talked about how we both wanted to provide care for foster children and connected on so much else. Our education levels were paired well. We had same type of spirituality, same life interest, and we even had mutual friends we didn't know about. And today she tells me someone else she met last weekend has her full attention. This one hurts. Along with my favorite uncle passing away yesterday, I'm exhausted from keeping up with life's demands, and I'm tired. My self-confidence has been beat down so long, I can't fight it anymore. I don't know how I can find someone I match with so well again. I can't take the hurt anymore. I just want to delete the app and accept that I'm probably going to have to go solo from here on out. I don't even want to hope anymore. I don't want to put myself out there anymore. I don't know how much more of this I can take. Anyway, just had to vent to someone, and it's embarrassing to tell a friend. At this point, I just want to sell everything I own, go live in the woods, and be with nature. What do you all do when you feel this low and hopeless? Edit. Wow, I had no idea this post would get this amount of traction. I just posted it because I was embarrassed to even admit to my friends that I was feeling that down. I appreciate all the encouragement and support. It was a bad couple weeks in multiple ways, and I think her rejecting me was the tipping point of feeling defeated. But reading everyone's takes has been very therapeutic. Thank you all. I really do appreciate it. Now let's jump into a few of the comments. So Top Knot 78 says, when I was feeling that low, I learned how to not let people I haven't met occupy this much space in my brain. Do not hand over your power because they checked a lot of boxes for you. Don't forget she had checked boxes too, and you don't know what those were. Sounds like a break from the app is a good idea. From the apps is a good idea. Focus on other things. Look into detaching from the outcome and being more in the moment when meeting people. Come back refreshed whenever you're ready again. I think that's pretty awesome advice. This next comment is from Ex-Perfectionist. Sounds like you never met in person from your post. Even if you had met in person, you need to work on not putting people on a pedestal, not daydreaming about a future together, and building a story in your head about having found the one, air quotes. At least not before you're months and months in and deep in a relationship and know each other well. This person was a complete stranger, even if you had some things in common. You didn't even mention chemistry, just a few things lining up on paper. Quotes again. If this isn't the first time this has happened, where you feel like giving up just because something doesn't work out with someone, then that's something to work on with a professional like a therapist. And I definitely think that is sound guidance. This next comment is from Loner Phases. Think about how many of the happiest couples are very different from one another. And think of all the people who just fell in love, quotes around fell, rather than sought it out to find it. Sometimes life knows best, even better than we do. Our next comment is from Peachy Penguin 1. I'm sorry for your loss, OP. If you're not a normal Redditor, OP means original poster. In regards to this woman, remind yourself that you didn't actually know her. She was good on paper, no guarantees your compatibility or connection would have extended past that. With billions of people in the world, there are certainly other women you have as much in common with. Take a break, breathe, regroup. All right, and one more comment that I want to highlight is from RB7921. And they say, if it makes you feel any better, I had 2 men in a row I'd met in person, in parentheses, 1 for 3 dates and a kiss, tell me they were getting back together with an ex. And 6 months later, I met the guy I've been with for over a year now. Don't lose hope. Oh, that was a great message of encouragement at the end there. All right, now I want to move on to some green flags and red flags that I'd like to point out and identify within this Reddit post to help you, my beautiful listeners, become more self-aware and intentional in your own dating journey. All right, so let's jump into some of the green flags. So one of the first green flags that I realized from this Reddit post is that OP, the original poster, and the woman that he was dating and getting to know, they had a lot of compatibility when it came to their interests, such as in goals, such as, caring for foster children, spirituality, life interests, things of that nature. And there was an alignment there, which I think is really great to speak about up front when you are dating as a grown-ass person. So in this case, this is on the Dating Over 40 Reddit. So I love the fact that they had those deep, intentional, meaningful conversations early. Second green flag I saw was there was a lot of honesty on her side, that even though it was painful for OP to hear, this woman let him know that she met somebody else and she really wanted to focus on building that relationship and rapport or potential relationship. That's great, because even though when you're dating, it can be hard to hear some of those things, you really want to appreciate that the other person was honest and upfront about their interest being elsewhere. That transparency and honesty will save everyone a lot of time and heartache in the long run. Little short-term pain, but long-term gain with that. So being honest is so important. Next thing was community support. The overwhelming response underscores, that there's a lot of support from people who understand OP's situation. That is in the post as well as probably in his life. And I think that is so valuable. And then there is a self-awareness that, the OP was acknowledging that they are a little bummed and a little down that this happened. And I think that self-awareness and vulnerability, though I think this is particularly a low moment for him, I don't think that this is the end of dating for him. But I think that self-awareness and that vulnerability will do nothing but serve him in the future when he goes to onto his next relationship. So acknowledging the feelings of being hurt and being a little exhausted, as well as the desire to kind of be alone right now, is so important, because that is a great indication of understanding one's own emotional availability to be in a relationship and date. All right, now let's jump into some of the red flags that were in this post. I'll mainly discuss red flags on the part of the original poster, but some as well on some that could be seen as red flags on the woman that he was dating and pursuing. So the first red flag I noticed about this poster is they just seem to be at a point of emotional exhaustion and strain. And such a deep emotional reaction to someone saying, which is tough to hear, hey, I'm talking to somebody else and I'm interested in pursuing that more than this. Yes, that is going to evoke a bit of a response to be a little bummed out and sad. I think the depths of maybe this OP's hopelessness is an indication of something deeper. And I would definitely advise that, well, not advise, but just say that reaching out to a licensed mental health professional may be the best thing at this point, because I feel that these feelings are linked to something deeper, and maybe on the surface what looks like rejection is causing other things to come up. And there's this sense of hopelessness combined with life stresses that really is, weighing heavily on OP. And not dating for a while would be the best thing, and just to work on his own mental health and do more introspection and reflection on where he's at in life would be the best bet for what's safest and healthiest for him as well as any future potential partner. Another red flag was the potential isolation, the desire to, what did he say, like sell everything and then retreat into nature. That is aligned with the hopelessness, which is an indication of something deeper. So when we are going through things, it is definitely best to partner with trusted resources. That's people, that's licensed mental health professionals, that is, trusted friends, clergy, mentors, etc. So OP's desire to be alone is definitely, once again, like I said, an indicator and red flag of something deeper. And right now he needs to just take a step back, maybe, put his profile on pause on Bumble or any other dating apps, and just work on himself, work on his mental health, work on what's causing him to feel kind of so low in this time based upon a rejection that many people on dating apps go through on a daily basis. But he's taking it as such kind of a stab in the heart that he needs to probably just not date right now and focus on himself and his well-being. Another red flag, I'm on the fence about whether this could be deemed a red flag of the woman that he was pursuing, but to be fair, I did want to include it. So her shift in attention, despite their strong compatibility, there seemed to be a really easy switch that this woman was able to start dating someone else shortly after their meeting. I can see both sides of it. I would say in the sense that it is a red flag. I think that it shows that she wasn't as interested or as compatible as maybe OP originally thought. And that could be because he was maybe projecting on her very positive characteristics, or she could have been pretending to be as compatible with OP and then really wasn't. Maybe she was just biding her time and wanted to talk to somebody. So from that lens, I could see it as a red flag. I could see where it wouldn't be a red flag in the sense that we're grown, we're out here dating, and it's perfectly okay to talk to multiple people at the same time to kind of gauge where you really have a connection and interest versus talking to people, just one at a time, just them. So I can see both sides, but I did want to present it as a potential red flag for those who are out here actively dating, especially using dating apps, to understand kind of how your actions could be. So now on to some coaching questions that I would pose to any client who was going through this type of situation, just for their own self-reflection, self-awareness, and so they can move forward in their dating lives with more intentionality. So grab a pencil, piece of paper, to do your own personal reflection on these questions, but also feel free to comment below if you want to share anything. Remember, this is a private experience and I want to make these videos as fruitful for you as possible. So let's get started. Question 1. What emotions emerge when reflecting upon this recent dating experience? So put yourselves in the shoes of OP, the original poster, especially if you're a man listening to this, but also as a woman, and just reflect upon any emotions that would have emerged if you were in his shoes, or if you have been through this before. Question 2. How do current life events, such as the passing of a beloved family member, influence reactions and feelings towards dating? Question 3. What underlying beliefs or past experiences might be influencing the perception of self-worth and relationships? Question 4. In what ways can self-care practices be incorporated to navigate these emotions and experiences? And question 5. How might previous relationship patterns be informing current feelings and expectations in dating? All right, so now on to just my thoughts and what I felt and what came up when I read this post. So the first thing I thought when I was reading this post, I was trying to put myself in the shoes of the person who posted, and I thought, you know what, if I was in this headspace, I likely wouldn't date. And that's my advice, or that's my feeling for the original poster, as well as any of you listening who have been there or are currently there. When you have these feelings of like hopelessness and wanting to isolate, that is definitely an indicator that there's something deeper going on based upon what happened where someone said, hey, I'm interested in somebody else, or I met someone else and I'd like to pursue it and see where it goes, and they want to stop talking to you. Yes, that hurts. That stings. Rejection is not fun, but always remember the old adage, it is true. Rejection is protection because we can only usually see what's in front of us. Most of us don't have the intuition to really intuit about other things moving on. And, even if anyone is psychic out there, there's a limited scope of what you can see, especially with yourself. So I would say that when you face rejection, it is totally normal and okay to feel down a little bit and feel that, like, hey, that really sucked. I didn't enjoy that experience. But if you are feeling hopeless and you are feeling like, you know what, I just want to go and isolate myself, that is an indication of something deeper. And you definitely want to go and talk to someone. Talk to a licensed mental health care professional, counselor, therapist, what have you, psychologist, psychiatrist, many different titles, licensed clinical social worker, many titles, but someone who is actually qualified. And I myself am totally okay saying as a relationship coach, that is not my area of expertise or training, and I would never step on the toes of someone who has that training, expertise, and licensure. So if you're feeling like this when you're out here in these dating streets, please take a step back and talk to someone you trust. There are many hotlines and things out there if you just need to talk to someone who can provide you resources. And maybe you don't have anyone around you can talk to that you trust to that extent, or you don't really feel comfortable being that vulnerable with the people around you that you do trust and do love you. But definitely reach out, connect. There are apps out there. I think it's called BetterHelp, but there are even apps. If you're in the US, I can't speak for other places. There are even apps out there where you can get support from a therapist or counselor through an app, and you can text and then you can do video calls. So understand, you can work on your mental health in a private, secure way with people who are genuinely there to support you. And definitely call the hotlines out there. You can Google some if you need to, just to find a hotline to help you if you're having these thoughts, from the mundane to the extreme, because it is important for you to get the support you need so you can be at a very healthy and balanced place, just in terms of your emotions, in terms of how you're approaching life, in terms of how you feel about life. So the first thing I thought when I saw this post was like, this guy does not need to date right now, because even if he had not revealed that he felt that way, that energy may have been coming off to the woman that he was talking to. I can't say for sure, of course, but that feeling that there's something deeper there, or that he may want to use me as a therapist, or he may be really clingy because he wants a lot of my time. I'm just assuming here. I have no, facts about that. But it may be a case that she sensed some of that something deeper was going on, and she knew that that was not something or load that she was willing to share or carry, because all of our mental health, that is our responsibility as adults. And if you need to ask for help, you need to ask for help. And I think in this case, OP's post definitely revealed something deeper going on. So I really wish him the best, and I would want him to, and hope he has followed a lot of the advice in the comments about reaching out to someone and getting some help. But, same to you. If anyone is listening and they have felt this way or are feeling this way, reach out to licensed mental health professionals to help you, to have your, people you trust around you, that you can confide in, to maybe share some of these feelings. If you don't have people like that around you, feel free to reach out. There are hotlines, especially if you're in the US, that you can call and have a trained person provide you resources and just talk to you about this space that you're in. So I think the biggest thing about this post is it was very revealing that this person is not in the space, the head space, the mental space, the emotional space to date, because even if they are not on the extreme end of the negative, where they would potentially harm themselves or someone else, they would be a very hard load for someone else to be willing to carry, because they're going through so much internally. And like I said, that woman may have sensed it. And that's another reason why she may backed out, of corresponding with this person. So those are just my thoughts, and I really wish OP the best. I would love to get an update or see an update about this because I really want this person to get the support they need so they can feel good about themselves, so they can go out and build, healthy, balanced, mutually beneficial relationships with the right person for them. So, just my thoughts. Thank you for joining me today for this edition of Relationships on Reddit. Remember to like, comment, share, and subscribe. In the comments, let me know some of the challenging or interesting dating situations that you have encountered in the past. Also, feel free to suggest other posts on Reddit that you would like me to include in this series. Thanks for tuning in today. This is Janelle, and I look forward to sharing some more posts with you next time. Check out my links below if you're interested in working with me for group coaching or one-on-one coaching.